Hello, everybody. I'm wearing a shirt that matches this moon. It's a blue moon. See? Moon phases. Oh, we can't see. Anyway, we are in a rare blue moon. You know that saying, once in a blue moon? It's because blue moons mean there are 2 full moons in a calendar month. So we're in our second full moon of August. It's pretty cool. And it's falling in Aquarius. And it's called the corn moon because of the time of year. Some sites you're going to see, they call it the sturgeon moon, some the corn moon, and I believe there's one other name for it. And that's all related to Farmer's Almanac or the harvest or what's going on in that area, why they called it that moon. I sort of like the blue corn moon. It sounds nice. And the moon has been lovely. If you've been outside the last couple of nights, it's just, they say it looks bluish because there's sort of smoky particles in the air. Now, right now, we might be getting beautiful full moons because of the forest fires and all the smoke all across the world right now. So many fires, but it's creating, for those of us not in a fire zone, and praying for everyone who is. But if you're not in a fire zone and you're getting this beautiful hazy moon, it's very mystical. It's very romantic, I find. So I was out trying to take photographs of the moon, trying to capture it properly at the camera last night. And it's not an easy thing to capture, even with a good camera. And it's supposed to be that way. The moon is all about mystery. Some things are meant to stay mysterious and give us a sense of wonder and possibility that we don't know everything. And some people find that thought stressful, that we don't know everything. And other people find it a relief that we don't know everything. So let's take a look at this astrology chart because it's a nice one. It's a very nice one. Now, yeah. Okay. Why do I say it's nice? Well, because we have 2 Grand Trines in this chart. That's pretty rare too. Once in a while you get one. A Grand Trine is like a perfect isosceles triangle when the planets line up in that perfect triangle. And what that means is that those energies that touch that triangle are in perfect flow and harmony. They don't have to try. They just naturally work together. And sometimes that means people find it really easy to do certain things, depends. We're going to take a look what planets that is and what signs that is. But sometimes it gives the person a certain talent, a certain ease, maybe even a feeling of luck. Because they don't have to try, it seems like they're lucky, but it's sort of an area of the chart where it's just in such harmony that people don't have to really think about it or try that hard for things to work well. So it's really cool. We have 2 of them in this chart. So it means there's 2 different streams of flow going on, and one is in air signs and one is in earth signs. So you can sort of tap in like which one is a better flow for you based on your sign. It's wonderful if you're an earth or an air sign, and if you are a fire sign, you might want to tap in more to the air side of this, the flow. And if you're a water sign, you might find it better to tap into the earth side, but it depends on what you need right now. But that's why I say this full moon is just beautiful with these aspects. Now, like any chart, there's a couple of things that are opposing, and I'll get into that. But overall, when I looked at this chart, I had this just very nice ease feeling, which is wonderful. We all need that right now. So it's also falling on the 22nd of the month, which is interesting if you like numerology, the 22. So you have a double flow, and then you've got a 22. This is a great manifesting moon. And when I say manifesting, it's not sort of in the style of The Secret book where it sort of gives the impression that if you just think about something, it should arrive at your doorstep. Manifesting's deeper than that. But if you tap into a genuine side of yourself where you feel that mystical or magical energy, where you feel like you're trusting and something is working without you doubting and breaking your head over it, without complications, with some sense of faith, that's what sets manifestation in motion. It doesn't happen without faith. So it's different than the vibe of like wanting and wishing, like, oh, I want this, I want it, so, oh, please, please. Because that sends into the universe like desperation. What sends the right energy out into the flow or your interactions that will bring in some way organically what you want, what sets that in motion is trust. If I tell you, oh yeah, next year I'm going away for a couple of months and I can't wait to go. That's completely different than, oh, please, oh God, I hope I can go. Hope it's going to work. Oh gosh, please someone tell me my trip is going to happen. Right? Completely different vibe. So what we want to do in this full moon then, if you want to bring in things to your life and see it flow, you can't always say, oh, I want a car, or oh, I want this to show up, or I need that, so it better show up now, damn it. It's more that you put yourself into some level where you trust what's going on and the flow of what's going on. It might not be related to the thing you think you need or want, but you just have to get yourself into that side of you where you trust and things are flowing. And then that will bring the rest of it to flow and find its way. And that's how manifesting works, in my opinion. So we have a high probability of you getting into a flow that could help you with this during this full moon on the 22nd, of all things, the master number, the fool, the dreamer realizer, the master builder number, the 22. Thinking bigger than your little life, you or your little box. That's the 22 energy. If you're in the number 4 energy, now it's like it's a square, and it's just, as they say, it's sort of like a chicken clawing for worms. It's like it's too static, and it's only concerned with its immediate environment, and it's too small for the 22, because 2 plus 2 is 4. So if you're at the lower vibration of the 22, you're going to be worried. You're going to be thinking about, where's my money coming from, or your basics, without that sense of faith. Obviously, people worry about these things in their lives, but like overly fearful, worried, paranoid about that, without faith that things can work out for the better, or if there's solutions. 22 is thinking globally. It's aware of its impact. It's aware of the world. Its projects or dreams extend to include and affect other people or a higher cause. And if you tap into that with some faith, that's when amazing projects and things can happen, collaborations, all kinds of stuff. So that's the overall feeling I got of the chart. So I think it's pretty great. So let's dive in a little bit more. So of course, we have the sun still in Leo, 29 degrees, which is very interesting too. And then we have the moon at 29 degrees Aquarius. And Jupiter is right on top of that moon at 26 degrees Aquarius. So Jupiter on the moon, oh my Lord, talk about heightened emotion, talk about heightened optimism. talk about luck, talk about trusting your gut. Jupiter and the moon in Aquarius, yes. Jupiter and the moon in Aquarius, do something crazy, do something unconventional, do something that breaks the rules, bends the rules. I'm not talking about uprisings and hostility and stuff. I'm talking about break the rules in a fun way, do something creative, say, well, why do we have to do it the same old way? We don't. Why do I have to have a 9 to 5 schedule? You don't. Why do I have to do certain things by a certain age? You don't. Why do we still have the same procedures at work? They could change. They could be improved. The moon and Jupiter in Aquarius is highly, highly innovative. So this is a great flow to tap into, right? So that's part of the flow is Jupiter, moon, and Aquarius. Now it's opposite the sun in Leo. So full moons, you always get the tension of sun opposite moon. Jupiter's emphasizing the moon more than that Leo sun right now. So Jupiter and the moon and Aquarius also, Aquarius is talking about the collective, the group, society. Leo is the individual, me, you know, what's in it for me, my position, my status, my family, my, you know, that's fine. We need that energy in life too. It's not bad. It's just that it's thinking of the self. It's the sun. It's I'm the sun and I'm shining and this is my world. Aquarius is like, okay, I'm out here in the galaxy and I'm looking at all the planets play around here and I'm looking at the big picture. So the emphasis, because of Jupiter, is more on thinking about the collective. Again, the 22. The 4 is sort of like Leo being a little bit stuck in its own world. And the 22 right now would be like the moon and Jupiter expanding and thinking about the globe, a global perspective. Now, the sun is also interesting at 29 degrees because it is falling close to the fixed star of Regulus that I've mentioned once in a while when it comes up. Regulus was a king who was assassinated. He had a quick rise to fame or to power, stardom, whatever, and then he had a quick descent. So when I see Regulus, you know, anything coming close to that, what I usually expect is, doesn't have to be you personally, but someone around you, or we could see it in the news. There's a rise and a fall. There's a fall from grace, a scandal, you know, a fall of reputation of somebody or something. Possible. It's possible. It doesn't mean an actual assassination attempt like Regulus. Although once in a while it does. But so I sort of, you know, might expect that to be in the air. So again, focus on the collective, focus on the greater good. If it's you who's worried about having that Regulus type of fall from grace, if you're having friction with people around you, if you lead people, or if you're socially feeling like things are not going so well, maybe ask yourself, am I a bit self-absorbed these days? Pull it back, broaden things out, ask about others, be more inclusive, more open-minded. That would be Aquarius energy. The other thing that's interesting, as I mentioned, when I do this chart, I do it based on New York City and the Eastern time zone. So the houses and where this next interpretation, this is talking about if you're in the Eastern time zone. And possibly if you are like, you know, an hour forward of the Eastern time zone too, the sun is probably still going to be in Leo in the 12th house. So you've got a Leo sun, what wants to shine, needs to be seen, needs validation in order to bring out its best self. And it's sitting there in the 12th house, which is the hidden and the unconscious. So what you got there is a closet show off. What you have there is somebody that can only shine when they have the right conditions, the right environment. So maybe that's going on for you or someone you know. Somebody that needs, I don't know, somebody maybe that can only sing if they're alone in their car. That would be a Leo sun in the 12th house. They want to go big or go home with their singing, but they'll only do it in the car. You know, it's not on a stage. It's not in front of people yet, because it's hard for the sun to shine in the 12th house. It's very hard. It's a very introvert position. There can be a lot of frustration about not being seen. So you could be experiencing that during this full moon as well. But again, like I said, the other planets are making these trines. We want to help you tap in to those two things and not get dragged into the whole thing about me versus the group. But if you do, you err on the side of the group based on this chart, not on bring it back to yourself this time. And you know, if any of you watch enough of my videos, you'll know that very often I do say, no, the chart is telling you think about yourself right now. Right now, the chart is saying no. Don't think about the collective. So the sun isn't making any other aspects. It's only got the moon opposing it. So it's standing alone. Again, you know, standing alone, wants to be seen, doesn't feel seen. That can be a theme. Jupiter and the moon are also not making any other aspects, so they stand alone as well. So they're like, no, we need innovation. We need collective, we need humanitarian values. They're standing alone and they're opposing. So now let's talk about where things are flowing really nicely. So we have, I'm going to stick with the 12th house just because we started with that. Again, if you're in the Eastern time zone. So we have Mercury and Mars right on top of each other, conjunct 14 and 18 degrees. And they're in Virgo. And they're in the 12th house. And this means somebody who is constantly analyzing. Constantly. No, it wasn't that, it was this. No, that's the wrong punctuation. No, that's not where I said to put it. That goes in that spot. Analyzing and putting things in their categories. Going over, it's excellent for accounting, as you can imagine. It's excellent for editing. It's excellent for anybody that needs to really fine-tune your details right now. So if you have any work like that you've got to get done right now, even though it's still the end of summer and you might not feel like it, the 12th house with all this Virgo could be a good time to just like lock yourself behind in your office and just get some stuff done. Clear up some old paperwork, go over some policies, edit something that you wrote, you know, rewrite something on your website, your blog, I don't know. Go over, again, like taxes. It's not that time of year maybe, but go over your budgets. Like this is an excellent time to do that. Now, before I talk about the trine that makes, I'm going to tell you that Mars and Mercury in Virgo are opposing Neptune. And that's the only other sort of, well, there's one more little stressful thing, but this is a stressful thing here. So again, Neptune is all about where we sort of feel a sense of the wonder, the divine, the mystical, the ethereal, the dreamy. You know, was I imagining it, or is that real? Is that something just beyond human earthly experience, or am I just high or drunk in my head? You know, this is the kind of feeling with Neptune, and Neptune can therefore make things beautiful and soft and peaceful and seem just ideal. It can also idealize whatever it touches, including idealizing people. And because Neptune is falling in Pisces in the 7th house right now, you could be idealizing people. You might not be seeing some people clearly. And because it's opposing Mars and Mercury in Virgo, I'm going to just advise again that you pull back and you just check, and analyze some stuff, go over some stuff. Because there's just a little bit of that in the air. Mars and Neptune opposite can be a sign of deception sometimes, or, scamming, bamboozling, ghosting, not ghosting, but, somebody who would ghost or like. So just if that's resonating with you and you feel foggy about a person or a situation, just pull back and go over your little checklists. But again, that's not the overarching energy of this full moon. This is the details that you want to watch for, but most of it is the good stuff that I'm about to say now. So that first flow is, I'm going to talk about the Earth. So Mars, Mercury in Virgo is making a trine with Uranus in Taurus and Pluto in Capricorn. Super powerful. And again, it really emphasizes that it's a great time to use that Virgo energy I just mentioned, because this is a power trine. Uranus can, like I've been saying in other videos, if you're watching, Uranus is like a lightning bolt that's in an earth sign. So it's like rumblings of an earthquake. The change that Uranus and Taurus is bringing is incredible, because COVID and the whole way the world has turned topsy-turvy with how people work, how people shop, our daily lifestyles, our economic system, our routines, that's all Taurus, and it's all being shaken up during Uranus and Taurus. We still have some years to go before it's done, Uranus and Taurus. It's coming in, it's a 7-year cycle, and it shakes and wakes us out of our old routines and into something new. Pluto in Capricorn, same thing. Pluto in Capricorn, it's been going on a lot longer, since 2008, and it's not done until 2024. So we still got a few more years of it. Pluto in Capricorn is here shaking up our whole capitalist model. That's what it's been doing, slowly just challenging it and transforming it. And some of our old ways have to die and be reborn, and that will be Age of Aquarius. Saturn's already in Aquarius. So the lessons began. They began at the beginning of the pandemic. Saturn went into Aquarius in March of 2020 when it hit most of the globe. And it's there for another couple years. And then we have all this Aquarian energy with Jupiter and the moon. So the power trine that happens in the Earth right now, when you've got like this detailed, precise Virgo energy mixed with the transformation power of Pluto and Uranus in Earth, means if you tap into that, you could really move mountains yourself. And it's on a tangible, practical, physical kind of level where you're moving life forward. That could be with finances, that could be physical health. It's not something that's going to happen. It's not in the mind. It's not in your head or your ideas or your inspiration. That's the air trine that's happening, where it's shifting your ideas. The earth trine is like getting her done. With this kind of chart, I would say like, yeah, renovate, knock down a wall, build something. If it's not related to your home or like construction, literally your body might feel like it's under construction. Maybe you're changing your health and your lifestyle so much that your body is just going crazy with different symptoms, just changing and rebalancing itself. Could be financial, could be with your work methods, but there's a lot of change in the air on a practical level. Move that forward, be detailed about it. This is an amazing force that you can tap into if you want things to change and get done on a practical level. So I think that's just wonderful. Whoever resonates with that side of it, that's what you tap into. Make your lists, do your research, get your details in place, and then go do it. Now, the second trine that we have is completely different. So see if you resonate with this one. Now, the first planet I'm going to mention is Venus. And because we just have one more little stressful angle with Venus and Chiron. So Venus is in Libra right now. So Venus in Libra wants things peaceful and beautiful. They want everyone to get along. They want everyone to look nice and act nice and speak nice and be fair. They want things to be beautiful and harmonious and clean. They want people to be diplomatic and civil. So, and that's happening in the first house if you're in the Eastern time zone. So Venus in Libra and traveling through the first house means you might be, it might be a great time to think about your image, your personal, how you come across to people. Maybe it's a great time to go get your hair done or buy something new or wear a new color or change your hair or go get, a barbershop if you're a guy. Do something interesting with your look. That's part of Libra. Maybe you want to do it with your home, beautifying, cleaning up the home. It's not so much, Venus in Libra isn't so much about getting down on the floor and scrubbing it. It's more about arranging things so that it looks nice the way it's placed. The colors are harmonious. Your home looks good. It smells good. It's very inviting because Venus in Libra is very social. So imagine that you're getting it ready to have people over versus the Virgo planets, which would be sort of, oh, well, that fits there, so I'll put it there. Great. Venus in Libra would be like, yeah, it fits there, but it would look much nicer this way. So you can focus on the Venus side of things if that resonates. Now, Venus is opposite Chiron. And again, if you're in the Eastern time zone, Chiron is falling in the 7th house as well, which is relationship related. So now that means we got Neptune and Chiron in the 7th house, and that's not easy. Neptune and Chiron in the 7th house are both signs that relationships, when intimate relationships, might be a little challenging. You might not be seeing people, your partner or your dates, as clearly as you think. You might feel hurt or harmed by them. You might feel that there's something being hidden from you, or they might sort of, have ways of like undercutting you. Because Chiron is an Aries, and that's the wound of the self. People that don't have a strong sense of self in their relationships, especially when Neptune is there, means that you can easily fall into being, the empath and the narcissist dynamic, giving too much and not receiving, trying to save people. So, that's one side of this moon. But again, the trines are stronger. To me, they feel stronger than these other aspects if you choose to focus on them. So Venus is making a nice trine with Saturn in Aquarius, air sign, and the North Node, which is in Gemini. So this is much more interesting and uplifting energy. Now, air signs are all about, your thoughts and your ideas and your communication. Venus trine, Saturn trine, North Node in Gemini. So now it feels like there's something important to communicate. There's a desire to branch out and build bridges to people, to build harmony back between people, to encourage or foster community. North Node in Gemini is, somebody who like knows the whole neighborhood, would be a Gemini, thing. And Venus in Libra wants to also socialize and have people get along. Saturn in Aquarius would feel more like sort of responsible to build, a new, like build a broad-minded, open, inclusive community. So that's another thing that you could tap into during this time. And maybe you're actively out there socializing and encouraging this. Maybe you're knocking on doors and asking how people are. Maybe you're volunteering. Maybe you're just out and about, just getting to know how everybody's doing and what they're thinking and take the pulse of something. And there's a strong feeling of like, building bridges between people. Like Venus in Libra is a master at this. At picking up, oh yes, someone else mentioned to me that they like this. I think you two would have that in common. Maybe I could put you two in touch. Gemini is master at networking as well, knows so many things on so many broad levels that they can very often know the answer or the starting place to help somebody. So they also mix and match and network people together. So you might want to focus on this side of this moon. And again, that brings it away from this battle between why isn't anyone seeing me? Do I focus on the group or on the collective endeavor? And it brings it away also from getting too mired down in interpersonal dynamics where the Neptune and Chiron could be throwing some of us off. So if you focus on the really practical Earth trine, like powerful plan, write down, research, get her done, go out there, that sort of protects you from getting stuck in the rest of it. And if it's the other side of like, let's include everybody, let's broaden our horizons, let's talk, let's bring people together, that also protects you from getting mired in these other inner conflicts which could be happening. So let's take a look now at our tarot. So let's see what the tarot has to say. I'm going to burn some of I have lavender, which smells awesome. If anybody wants to try it, just take any dried lavender you have and you can burn it just like you burn sage. Oh my God. And it just makes a little bit of smoke, but it is so potent. It's lovely. And you can find that, right now there's a lot of lavender harvest. You can buy a bunch at a market or something somewhere. All right. All right, here we go. I'm just going to cleanse these cards. So, I mean, you can call this smudging. If it's using sage, white sage, like First Nations, and an abalone shell like this and a feather, it's smudging. But there's other traditions all over the world that do smoke cleansing. The Scottish did it in a bowl, and they used juniper or mugwort. And I'm still in the process of researching other traditions around the world of which herbs they used and how they burned it. But, now it's lavender I'm burning and a bit of cedar to cleanse my cards. All right. So tarot, you probably have noticed if you watch my videos, astrology is very sort of broad and philosophical, even though there's some accuracy in it. It's not quite the same. Tarot is quite detailed and tells you more detailed or immediate type of events, more precise energy. So that's why I do both. And, as you listen, you just trust whatever strikes you. The whole reading might not apply to everyone because it's universal. It's the entire solar system we're taking a look at. It's not everything's going to apply to everybody. So if something really hits you and you can't stop thinking about it, then it's for you. All right. So I just cut the cards, and the first card today is the Three of Wands. So that's a nice starting spot. It says virtue. This is the card for me that means the noble side of us has to come out. Virtue. This is the card that says, deep down, you know what the right thing to do is. The trick is making ourselves do it sometimes, right? Like if it was in the example of, diet and lifestyle and trying to take care of yourself better. Well, the Three of Wands knows you shouldn't eat sugar or chips or whatever. Doesn't mean you're going to do it, but part of you knows, right? Or every time you pick up a smoke, that side of you that knows smoking isn't the greatest for me. Doesn't mean you stop, but the Three of Wands is sort of like your awareness of the right thing to do. So you got to tap into your intuition and be honest with yourself. If there's other situations in your life that you're feeling torn what to do or say, deep down it means you know what the ethical thing is or the right thing is to do. Often the right thing to do takes courage. So you could be in that situation. Second card is just change itself. Change. Jupiter and Capricorn, Two of Discs. Again, these are very philosophical cards today to start off with. You have virtue and then you have change. You have two things that are concepts that you have to get clear on and understand how they're working in your life. When I see the change card, I know that it's just asking me or whoever's with me to take a look at how things are changing, the aspects of dark and light in every situation and every person. And it will always be in a state of change in the universe, and accepting that things change, making peace that everything changes and it's not a bad thing. So, oh boy, the next card is the Tower. Okay, there's something coming. Interesting. Those two philosophical cards and then the Tower card mean you are primed for a transformative experience. You're getting a bit more emotionally detached, or maybe more elevated in your mind, a little more emotionally ready. The Tower doesn't have to be bad, but it is a breaking down of things that are old, and that can be literally stuff happening around you that you'll have to deal with. But it can also be breaking down of an old role that you play with people. It can be the breaking down of a side of yourself that you no longer feel serves you. It can be, as we mentioned, the breaking down of the way people used to work. Now, if people go online, if people are in a very different mindset these days about work-life balance, aren't they? So that would be an example of being very detached and having clarity on even on how your company works, or that unfortunately for managers, a lot of you are becoming a little more obsolete because people are actually quite autonomous and get a lot done at home. And so the Tower could mean managers are gone or are leaving or are more obsolete. That's a huge change. But this could be also an internal change. I know for myself, it's more lately about what I said before about recognizing that there's roles that I play or roles that people have expected of me that I no longer want to fulfill because they don't feel authentic to me. Maybe they never did, but I was doing it. And so the Tower card is the crashing down of that old self, that old role. That's one way, and you might relate to it, but it could be something completely different for you. But it's just interesting how these philosophical cards sort of just say, like, pull back and get very calm. There's a change, there's a bang coming. Oh, look at that. Right after, wow. Right after that, we have the Lust card, passion. So whatever the Tower takes away, it's going to replace tenfold with like energy and passion. Again, like I said, this full moon is great. It's got this manifesting, like, clear the decks, man. I'm not doing what doesn't feel right or real anymore. I'm doing what I feel passionate about. I'm ready to do it. So this is an awesome card combination. I love that. So yeah, don't worry. Now, Empress card, that's nice. There's someone around you who's like a motherly person or a spiritual person who's there to listen, there to comfort you, understands how you feel, there to encourage you. She's highly intuitive or psychic herself. There's support around you. Maybe you're this person. You might play that role for others or be in that position for others, as long as you're doing it because you want to, because I just said we're breaking out of old roles. But if you enjoy the nurturing, motherly, psychic confidant role, then that's great for you. Otherwise, maybe you're going to find such a person, and maybe that person could be me. I could help you with that. But it's just a lovely message that as you take hold of your passionate side, there's support comes in. Victory card. Six of Wands, a victory card. So whatever you're going to do next, you're on a fire, man. You're on fire. You're on a good track. The only thing is, you've got to go through the Tower moment to get there. You don't just stay status quo. I haven't done anything. Nothing's changed. I haven't done anything that makes me feel like, oof, I'm throwing things out. I'm cutting ties. I'm clearing the decks. I'm not, like, you have to go through the Tower transformation to get to this other side, which is support, passion, and a success of whatever you're launching, whatever you're doing with that passion. This is wonderful cards. Now, Eight of Cups. Now, that just looks like, where'd that come from, right? When you get something like this, like the Eight of Cups can be very depressing, can be feeling like, why bother? What's the use? Nobody cares. Saturn in Pisces, it's feeling very victimized, very sluggish, feels like very disconnected from people, very alone. And the Eight of Cups usually just wants to give up. Now, but when you get a card like this, after the rest of it, this is just a natural grieving. It's a natural part of the process of growing. Like, for example, let's say, go back to the health thing again. You've been trying to get healthy, and then all of a sudden you feel a bit of depression, even though you're working out more, your skin is better, I don't know, you have more energy, you're sleeping better, you're doing everything right. Why do I feel depressed? That could be this card, or this kind of psychological progression, because of course you're making huge changes, and even when they're good changes, you're going to be purging old stuff. This card to me in this reading feels like old stuff. So if on your trajectory you're like all excited, and then all of a sudden, ooh, I have this crushing depression day, or this wave of grief about something, or sudden memories of something from the past, just let it wash through you. It's just old stuff, like you're if you're cleaning out a closet inside yourself, you're going to come across things sometimes you go, ooh, how did that get there? Oh my Lord, got to throw that. That's sort of what you're doing emotionally with this card. We can't go to the next level without sort of grieving where we were. Even when things are getting better, you're still going to feel some period of loss. If I suddenly, I don't know, if I suddenly won a lotto and I could buy my own house, I'd be happy, but I would still probably grieve or miss my apartment. It's just how life works. So allow yourself to just let any of that stuff wash over you. It's probably old stuff. And the Ten of Swords just comes along and confirms that again, because the Ten of Swords means you could feel really crushed by something. You're going to have to be careful not to let yourself spiral down and sabotage your own success, your own progress. I'll just leave it there because I don't want to focus too much on that. And the next card here is the Moon. And the Moon, again, this is like a high trajectory and a low. The Moon means if you let yourself get too down or depressed about things, you will sabotage yourself. You'll go into a funk or a fog. You'll miss out on the passion and success you could have. Don't be afraid to go to the next level. If you feel strong enough that you're going through this tower moment and you're saying, I'm not doing what I did before, I'm changing my life, be prepared. You're going to have a high and you're going to have old stuff come up. And if you absorb that and you let that stop you, instead of going, I expect this obstacle to come and I will get support, I will talk to people, and I will ride over that bump. I'm not losing the ground that I've gained. Because this is a bit more dangerous. You could spiral out and sabotage what you've just built. So I'm going to pull more cards for this because, yeah. Okay, now, the Five of Swords is usually a conflict and sometimes a breakup, an argument, or a split for a while. It's possible that, and this is normal too, when you up-level your life, a lot of the time you end up in a situation where you do have to put boundaries or walk away from something or someone for a while. It doesn't always mean it's permanent, but a lot of people feel nervous when we change. They feel scared when we change, and they try. So it's possible that you might need to also distance yourself in order to keep your new passionate trajectory going. Then we come back to the Witch, the art card, the Temperance card. Now she knows that she has to mix everything like a fine recipe in order to get the results. So this takes it to a higher level again. At first, okay, you connect, you're like, I don't want to do, or I am letting this fall apart. I don't want that. I don't want to be this way anymore. Oh, this is what I do want. This is what I love, the Passion card. The Empress is like, there's people supporting you. Yes, do that. This is great. You're on track. I love it. Success card. It's starting to work. Oh my God. The Eight of Cups, Ten of Swords, the Moon, the Five of Swords. Oh my God, what's happening to me? All of this old stuff is flooding. Maybe I shouldn't do this. Suddenly people I thought I had in my corner are not so happy for me. What's going on? What do I... the art card or the Witch card knows this is going to take some timing. This is going to take a mix of people. This is going to take some strategy to make my magic. So she's not stopping. She just knows there's a process, there's a bit of a dance along the road to fulfilling her passion. And then the Magician. Freedom, in control of what you want to do, launching your ideas, your vision, lots of skills, lots of things working. This is a manifestation card. So this full moon, you ask yourself, am I ready for that? That's what's available to us. Damn, what a reading, eh? Okay. So now we're going to read for everybody's sign. We just always have to get a little pen paper ready. Why do I never ever have a pen beside me during this? Okay, whatever. Oh yeah, I probably have one in this bag. You know, whenever I watch people's live videos, I'm always sort of bored because I find everybody's just hanging around, not really facilitating something. They're just like sitting there waiting to be asked questions and like, not everybody, but there's a lot. And I used to feel nervous, like, oh no, I can't stop the flow of the presentation to get a pen. Now I'm like, everyone does this. So I will write down the times of each reading, and we will try to specify here what question to ask for everybody. I feel like I'm always asking, like, what are we manifesting? That seems too basic. What would be a good question for right now? I'm going to do the reading based on should your sign tap into the air trine or the earth trine? Which energy would be most beneficial for you to tap into, the earth trine or the air trine? I like that. All right, let's take a look for Aries now. Aries, what flow should you tap into? Okay. Princess of Discs, clearly the earth. So even though you are an air, a fire sign, and typically that goes better with air, but think about if there's too much fire, the air will blow that fire and create these forest fires like we have. If you've got a tiny little flame, then the air is what you need to build the fire to be warm enough to cook your food, keep you warm. But this is basically saying for Aries, you need to tap into the practical side, the earth side of your nature right now. So this is more the side that needs to pull back to that Virgo planet, Mars, Mercury, trine Uranus, trine Pluto. It's a time to clean up. It's time to make plans. It's time to go over your budgets. It's time to sit down and maybe bang out what you're doing next, write it down. It's time to renovate or pull stuff out of shelves, assemble things, finish unpacking if you haven't, whatever it is. It's definitely saying tap into your practical stuff that you need to get done, and you will be a force to be reckoned with. Taurus, what do you need to tap into? Oh boy, 9 of Swords. Taurus, you might be having a bit of a rough time. Uranus and Pluto could be, this earth trine could be causing so much change that you still feel very unsettled about it, because Taurus doesn't like change on this level. And these planets are very much about big change and upheaval, and things that for Taurus feel like, makes me feel insecure and out of control of my life. So in that case, this card is a Gemini card, and that would tell you to tap into the lighter side, tap into the air side of things. The cruelty card, Mars and Gemini, this usually means gossip, verbal abuse, mental cruelty on some level. The air trine encourages, that step back, right? That inclusive, diplomatic, being light, testing the water, asking questions, bringing other people on board. You might be getting sort of stuck down the rabbit hole of some of those other planets we mentioned where there's someone around, relationship dynamics where people are not being clear with you, like the Mars Neptune I mentioned, or the Chiron in the 7th house, where there's some difficulties with people you might not trust. So if you focus on the air side of things, make it a little bit lighter, bring other people in to the conversation, be diplomatic, ask questions. Try not to get too heavy in yourself about what's going on. I know it can be hard, but that's the advice for this time. All right, Gemini. What do you focus on? Interesting. The sun. Well, focusing on the sun would tell you to focus on the Leo side of this chart. So, although you, with the air trine, that emphasizes and would support your sun. For you, I'm going to ironically say you should focus on yourself right now. That's what happens with tarot. Sometimes, despite all I just said for the last 50 minutes about the chart, for whatever reason, Gemini, you're an exception. And I'm going to say for now, you need to shine. This card is the sun. It's all about shining, celebrating, being joyful, letting out whatever you need to express yourself. Doesn't mean being a self-absorbed, like you don't care about others, but it just means don't block yourself from doing what you need in order to shine. That's why I like the tarot. It just curveballs you sometimes, Cancers. What do you focus on for the full moon? Oh, interesting. Prince of Swords. There's someone around you who's clearly messed up. Usually it's male, doesn't have to be, but this guy is complicated. He is at odds with himself and with others. He's very clever and smart. He can probably sell, snow to an Eskimo, kind of, as the saying goes. Hopefully that's not a terrible thing to say. It's an old joke. Bad joke maybe, but you get the picture. Like, it's the used car salesman kind of thing, or it's somebody who can just talk circles around you with facts or with gaslighting or spin. But this guy he's not good with himself. Mentally, he's not well. He's complicated. He's not clear. He's not honest. And you need to stay away from this person. And if there's someone around you who's like this and you're not seeing them clearly, then it's time to step back and see them clearly. So for you, Cancer, your full moon, you can ride on those good sides that we mentioned in the chart, but it looks to me like you're sort of piecing together the Mars-Neptune factor. This is sometimes a cunning male. This is not a nice guy, and you need to see this person clearly for who they are and let go or detach. Leos. So Leo, you're getting a difficult card here, but it doesn't mean it's all bad. 7 of discs. It says failure. That doesn't mean you're going to fail right now. You could be struggling with some feelings of failure. Remember we said Leo sun for this full moon is sort of standing alone and opposed by the Jupiter and the moon, wanting to take it a different direction. And remember we said it's sort of lonely in that 12th house, wondering like, how come people aren't seeing me? How come they aren't appreciating me? So you could be going through that. But also sometimes this card is finances. The seven of, it's Saturn and Taurus, which can mean you're not valuing yourself, or you don't feel other people value you, but maybe you're not valuing yourself properly. And it can also mean sometimes finances, you need to take a look at them. Finances are tight. But I get a feeling for this full moon that means to tap into the Earth trine. This is an Earth card. So that means you need to sit down, crunch your numbers, go over your paperwork, and get some stuff done. And you need a bit of a lifestyle overhaul that's not just in your head or your philosophy of life. It's you need an overhaul. You know, it would be like rearranging the furniture in here. You know, it's a physical lifestyle change you need. And you need to shake up your energy and try not to get down or feel sad about a lack of recognition. Or validation. If you're not getting that, it's because you're not giving it to yourself. So it would be a message to do that. All right, Virgo. Virgos. Well, you've got the Judgment card, which he calls the Eon in this deck. Very interesting. And this card is all about decisions, big decisions. This card is usually the Judgment card. So it's sometimes people feel like, oh, it's an external source judging. Sometimes I would more say, ask yourself, are you judging yourself? Are you judgmental or judging yourself or others too harshly? But that's a minor part of this message. The biggest part of this card is that with this card, you are ready to take a step and declare something to the world or something about yourself. This is my like coming out of the closet card. So if there's anything in your life that applies to coming out of the closet and saying, oh, by the way, this is what I like, this is what I do, this is who I am, this is who I'm not, this is what I'm willing to do and what I'm not. It's a big decision and a step that's going forward, and nobody can budge you to go backwards on. So in that case, you're definitely tapping into the Earth trine that is part of your sign. And the Tower card from the other progression, that would be a sign that you are ready to really make a bold step. So I encourage that if you're feeling up to it. All right, Libras. By the way, with Venus in Libra, Venus in your sign right now, it's nice. It helps you out. It helps you feel at ease. It helps you feel, maybe more validated. Maybe there's a little more things that flow in your life better than they were before. Maybe you just feel a bit of a boost of confidence with Venus in your sign, but it's very nice. So you have the Power card, Sun in Capricorn, 4 of Pentacles. This is definitely tapping into the Earth trine, get her done side. This is about structure, about foundations, about building things, concrete plans. This is about authority sometimes. You can see there's a moat, there's a castle. This is like a drone flying over a castle, this card. You see the 4 towers, you see the moat, you see the drawbridge So are you in your castle? Are you alone or too lonely in your castle? There's no one in this courtyard that we can see. There's a lot of work that went into getting this castle built and secured and beautiful. But now you got to fill it with people. So for some reason, Libras, I'm just getting this feeling you need to ask yourself, are you balancing out your social side with your getting her done side. It's funny, I'm getting a mixed message for you, Libra, about what to focus on with that card. Because this card gives me a feeling that you're maybe a bit too lonely or isolated, which makes sense for Libras during a pandemic time. So, and Venus is in your sign with all that air. I'd say it's a good time to reach out and just ask yourself, do I have a good balance of social life and isolation or alone time? Practical practical side of life, or am I, you know, don't be lonely, Libra. Just ask yourself. All right, Scorpios. Scorpio, your card is King of Wands. So you're definitely focused on the fire side. Dynamic, powerful, creative, getting it done. Inspired. That's a more Leo feeling card. For you, I'm getting a feeling that you might be enjoying some time getting things done behind the scenes. You might be doing an enormous amount of creative thinking or expansive planning, or anything that you're doing, making, drawing, designing, I don't know, behind the scenes, because you're still a Scorpio after all. And Leo is in the 12th house right now, so it's shining behind closed doors. Remember we said they need the right environment to shine? So it feels to me, for Scorpio right now, you've found, or you have created, or you are in the process of creating the right environment for you to shine and feel wonderful about what you're bringing out of yourself and to the world. But for now, it feels like it's sort of in private or under wraps, or just to a few people that you know. It gives me this feeling like you're about to launch some secret project, or you're doing something mysterious, and one day you'll go, haha, by the way, look what I just did. That's fun. All right, Sagittarius. Sag, what do you focus on? All right, we have the Prince of Discs, so that's an earth card. And again, your fire, usually we would say fire is good with air, but this is the second time I'm getting an earth message for the fire sign. Don't blow away, don't let the fire get out of control with all that wind right now. This is a card of getting things done, but because it's earth, but the prince usually is lazy. This prince is like, yeah, tomorrow. Yeah, someone else can do it for me. So are you dealing with someone like this around you? Are you the lazy bum? Is someone else around you lazy, sluggish? Do you have to push somebody to do something they said they'd do? Do you trust somebody around you that you've hired or you've trusted with a task? Are they reliable? That could be an issue right now. I think you need to focus on the earth side of things and on that Virgo energy of really go through your details, your fine-tooth comb, your contracts, because the Neptune Mars thing is floating around this kind of guy. He's not maybe exactly what he's presented himself to be, just feels a little bit on the mild side, and hopefully that's not you. That's not exactly who you're pretending to be, but ask yourself if you are also feeling like you've been cast in a certain role, or people are projecting things onto you that don't feel right and they're not really you. That could be another aspect, but I still think this is more a matter of be practical, get the practical stuff rolling, and be detailed and diligent about it. Alrighty, Capricorns. Capricorn, what do you focus on? Seven of Wands. Well, that's a fire card and a Leo card. And it usually means you have to stand up for yourself. You have to set a boundary or stand up for yourself or for someone you care about. Could be standing up to an authority as well. Standing up to the man, the government, the boss. Could be just asserting yourself with things that are not working for you. I feel that it's sort of asking you, I think, to focus on the air sign qualities of this moon. Keep things a little lighter, a little more diplomatic, ask around, get multiple opinions, bounce things off of people before you really intensely take a stand or get angry or say, put your foot down or something. Just pull back and ask some fellow friends that are air signs or how you can fulfill this boundary that keeps things inclusive for other people and does it in a more gentle or delicate way with the way it's worded. So I would say you're focusing on the air trine of this full moon. So consult, ask opinions, get feedback, get a little bit detached, formulate what you really need to say diplomatically, and then you need to assert whatever that is versus dashing in really, really strong or reactively. That would be the advice for this full moon. All right, Aquarius. What do you need, Aquarius, to focus on? Oh, look at that. We have an Aquarian card, the star. Beautiful. An amazing full moon for you. You focus on the moon and Jupiter. Just let the moon energize you. Let Jupiter energize you. Let it just make you think bigger and broader and dream big. Let your mind wander into outer space if you need to. You can allow yourself to dream big right now. You might not do anything about it for a while, but this card is a card of hope. And maybe you're feeling that you need some hopefulness. Maybe you need some stars in your eyes. Maybe you need to find some inspiration. If you feel like you don't have that, then you definitely actively go seek to look at things or people or beautiful stuff, whatever it is that inspires you, nature, whatever it is that inspires you. Don't worry about if it's practical or doable and just kill the buzz on yourself right away. The first thing with the star is you need to be able to visualize it and dream it. And the dream needs to feel uplifting and magical and real at the same time. Sort of like if people have a dream of world peace. Now, it's very easy to just crap on that and say, there is no world peace. What are you talking about? It's crazy everywhere. But how are you going to get anywhere closer to peace if you can't feel or dream or visualize that it's possible or what it could look like? And your ideal then, or your dream, is a guidepost that helps you bring more of that energy into the world. It doesn't mean you're going to solve it, the world, but you're going to bring more hope and more peace and inspiration with you. So whatever your version of that is, you need some hope and inspiration, and you need some dreaminess. And if you're already there, you might be at the next step where you're ready to actually put some plans down with those ideals and dreams. And you're really in a good headspace right now. I really like it. I get a great feeling for Aquarians right now. The moon's supporting you. All right, and Pisces, finally. Pisces, what do you focus on this full moon? Wow, the Knight of Cups, very romantic man. Lovely, lovely, lovely man. You might already have this guy in your life. If not, maybe he's close by. Maybe he's a friend. Maybe he's an interest. Maybe he's a brother. Maybe he's a neighbor. But you have a very nice, gentle, helpful, fatherly, protective, romantic type of guy around. Lucky you. Now, what would you focus on during this full moon? I would say definitely the air sign, the air trines. Get out there and meet people. Get out there and beautify. Have fun talking to people and network and let yourself be introduced or connect other people. Maybe this guy is coming into your life because of that networking. So this is lovely, Pisces. Very lovely full moon for you. That makes me happy. All right, if you need a personal reading, if you recognize yourself in any of these energies of this full moon and you would like some guidance, I'm here. You can message me under the video or you can reach me at river-rain.com, Clairvoyant Medium Catherine Allen on Facebook or Instagram. And I'm always happy to help you. All right, wishing you a beautiful, magical manifesting time.